Okay, that's the perception that killed boxing. That shit he pulled. I ain't never been beat. So how can I not be the best? That type of shit. And dumbasses will follow that because they don't see like, okay, well, you technically picked who you wanted to pick. Therefore, you beat those guys and look good doing it. Therefore, you look better than a lot of fighters looked with their fights because they fought real fucking fighters versus you. The difference really between Floyd fighting those fucking Logan Pauls and shit and what he was doing while he was quote unquote in boxing gloves is really pretty much the same concept. Really. Let's just be real. However, what he did said about Canelo, it was true because we don't really know if he was juicing before then. We don't. We just know he got busted. So I think the significance was he got popped. And I think after that, oh, well, we also have to remember though that Mauricio changed the level of clenbuterol in your system that you could have. Now ain't that a bitch? So if he used that as an example, that's absolutely right. But that's just something I'm adding to what he said about Canelo. And see, understand, Canelo didn't get mad at Caleb Plant because he called him a motherfucker. He got mad because Caleb Plant called him a cheater. And Floyd is reiterating on that. So I think Caleb Plant restriked a match and made a fire. And and that fire's been picked up and used as a torch. And Floyd's holding that damn torch. That's what I believe right now. But then you got to ask yourself, why is he doing it? What is it about Canelo Alvarez that you don't like him being praised as one of the pound for pound best? He's unified a whole division. You have never done that. You know what I mean? I mean a whole, like undefeated, like Terrence Crawford did, like Usyk did. You never done that. See those things, and I think Floyd looks at that and like gringes because the ego, he needs to feed it. But if someone's feeding someone else's ego, he doesn't need it. Bars. But hey, yeah, so I guess he would wish people would talk more about Canelo's drug use than praise him for being a good fighter. Well, the question would be, since they've changed the law, how much clenbuterol is in his system anyway? Right? How much is it in his, or if any? Because he had a small amount when they popped him. So that just shows you though what he's talking about. Now, is he talking the truth? Yeah, he's talking the truth, but why is he saying that? Why is he geared to say that? Let's move forward.
Do you think he was clean the night he fought you?
I'm saying I don't know. I don't know. That's y'all. This Canelo. Oh man, the kid was a cakewalk. Kid easy.
You named 5 fighters right there. What's your pound for pound list?
I mean, I ain't got to rate these guys pound for pound. I ain't got to rate. I don't got to rate them. I'm just tired that a lot of times people send me these stories about what the media write about, and I mean, do racism go on within the sport of boxing? Absolutely.
Okay, let me stop there. I have to counterpunch something. This is what I don't like, okay? And I'm going to chop this up so it won't be too long, all right? But this is something I have to counterpunch. Don't talk about what people supposed to be talking about, and you're not even giving the people props that's supposed to be spoken about. If that makes sense to everybody. Let me say that again, okay? Maybe I'm not getting myself or making myself clear. Floyd just sit there and said that people talk about Canelo and this is that and how certain fighters are not on the pound for pound list that people don't talk about, like Terrence Crawford and Errol Spence, and they're undefeated and this, that, and the other. But then you clearly was given the opportunity to put those fighters on the pedestal with your pedigree, with his type of following, right? With his star power, Floyd's star power. And what did he say? Oh, I ain't gotta bring them up. So what the fuck did you mention them for then? You didn't want to give them praise when it was time to give them praise. But yet you want to complain when the right or the wrong people are not being mentioned. See, if that's the case, see, this is just fucking complaining. This is not explaining. Okay, this is a time where if you're going to do something, do it right. Floyd fucked that up. Okay? Because he didn't even give these guys the opportunity and mention those names. Look, I think, Terrence Crawford. I think Errol's, even though he already said Terrence Crawford's one of the best, but he could have said that then. Look, Terrence Crawford should be there over Canelo, as well as Errol Spence. Then throw his boy Gervonta Tank Davis. He better fucking be under them because he ain't fought nobody. And then he could say Canelo. Then he could say Usyk. And then he could say everybody that's a non-black fighter. He could have done that, but he chose not to. Do you see the difference? And what does it really come back to? The motherfucker standing in the mirror. Who is that? Him. Talking about himself. That's what it all comes down to. I don't like the idea of me not fighting and someone else talking about the guy that I beat. It pisses me off. You're supposed to still praise me and only me. There should be other fighters, but I'm not going to talk about them. I'm going to talk about me, and this is all it's going to be. Bars. Let's hear about the racism bit. Let's see if he actually comes home with something, brings home with something real with the racism.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Floyd, is there a chance that
No, I don't want to elaborate on that because y'all have me out here and making shit look bad for me. Y'all don't give a fuck. Y'all make it look bad for me because y'all don't make it look bad for me because I write my own checks. So I say what I want to say. I always speak from my heart.
See, listen, this is the problem. He did exactly the same shit that he could have done. Oh, I'm not going to bring it up because y'all going to make me look bad. But you don't make me look bad because I write my own checks. Well, if that's the case, why don't you speak your mind? You just said racism exists. Explain, motherfucker. That's no different from Deontay Wilder saying to this day, without explaining, this is what happened. At least he said we've been fighting for 400 years to this day. At least he did explain more than he did. So I give Deontay that over Floyd. Floyd just said, there's racism in boxing. There should be more people on the pound for pound list. Like what racism? I'm not going to talk about that. I'm not going to mention that. Y'all going to make me look bad, but y'all don't make me look bad. Okay, well, who else is you should feel this pound for pound? I don't have to mention that. You see what I'm saying? It's all bullshit at the end of the day. Okay? And I know this is long, so I'm going to chop this up. So, but yeah, this with Floyd, he's still all about himself. He mentioned Tank at the very beginning of the video and didn't mention that motherfucker again. Because it's all about Floyd. Floyd. But anyway, you guys tell me what you think of this counterpunch concerning Floyd Money Mayweather in his recent interview with Seconds Out. Of course, please subscribe. And you guys been Counterpunch. Peace.